Delegating tasks is one of the hardest things for people to overcome when it comes to renovating a property. A lot of people think that they need to do everything themselves, and it ends up taking longer than it actually needs to because they're stuck in that mindset. I was stuck in that mindset for a while myself until I finally ended up realizing one way of thinking about it that helped me out of it. Now, I know that this way won't work forever, and so I always, well, it will work as long as I keep the metric and start to use that. But the one way that I found was I looked at my dollar per hour, what I was making. So for me, I was working a full-time job while working on a home. That's something a lot of people start out doing. A lot of people start out, maybe it's doing like freelance work, or maybe they have some sort of job where they're probably working a job while they're working on their first property. And so they have to get an idea of what their dollar per hour is, how much they're making per hour. And so for me, I knew that at my full-time job, I was making, I think it was $20 or $21 an hour. What I looked up was I just said, okay, well, how much does it cost, like, for the labor for somebody to do this work for me when it comes to certain things? Like for me, I could do the painting in the other unit. That's something I'm not super skilled at, but it's still something that I could pick up and do. And it had a low risk of me really, really screwing it up. Compared to like flooring or something like that, flooring, I had a pretty high risk of screwing it up. I could buy the materials and have to buy more materials just because I made one wrong cut. And it's one of those things where I knew that I had that risk of screwing it up. It would delay my time. I didn't have the means to be able to transport extra flooring. And so I had to find a way to do it in the most efficient way. And so I knew that I could do painting. I could transport all the things for painting. Maybe the brushes get dirty. I'm not the best at cleaning out the brushes, but at the end of the day, I could still get it done with low risk of loss. And so I decided to do the painting myself. But when it came to the flooring, I wanted to delegate that work because I knew that it would cost me potentially more than what it could have been to do it myself, but I knew I could get it done right. And so I looked at how much it cost me per hour to do that task. Now, I knew that the flooring, it's not as much on a dollar per hour task, but this also works for things like drywall work and even painting, some of those skilled labor tasks. I just did a quick Google and I said, okay, how much are these people getting paid, at least entry level in my area? Because a lot of times contractors will end up bringing someone who's not as skilled to a job to train them, help them learn. I mean, that's what happened when I had someone do the carpeting. I think the person they brought with them wasn't the most skilled, but they were still learning. And so they were kind of along with them in the job doing that task. And so I just did a quick Google, found out that drywall work, stuff around that, is making nearly what I'm making an hour. But I knew that the task that I could do, which was my full-time job, if I had the unit rented out, I would reduce my cost of living. I'd done the calculations. I knew that getting the unit rented out would eliminate my mortgage. And so I know that doesn't work for everybody in their market, but for me, it just made sense that, okay, well, if I'm going to eliminate my cost of living and be able to bring in as much money as possible by just paying somebody else to do this work to get the place rented out, it made sense to me to delegate that work. So that's a little trick I use to get over delegating, just trying to look at on a dollar per hour side of things. You may get to the point where it's just like, it's not even worth calculating on that because you know that the amount of time that it takes up from you to do that task yourself, and maybe it's just not even a skill that you want to develop yourself, it just isn't worth it. But thinking through it in that way really, really helped me out. I hope it helps you out too. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any ideas regarding this in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.